Hello guys, welcome back to the beastie room. We've got a pretty cool spider now. This is one you don't actually see a lot of, and information on this spider is pretty sketchy as well. There isn't a great deal written or done about them at all, and we have had one recently come in and we decided to hang on to this one, so it's going to become part of our beastie room. We are going to put it in this exo here. This is a 30 by 30 by 45. These can have mixed results. People have mixed results with keeping them. So it's an Asian arboreal, and it is in fact the Lampropelma nigerrimum, or the Borneo black, or I think it's also known as the Sangihe Black. These are, when the females, when fully grown, are jet black, large, generally with a bad mood. These guys really are very, very quick to defend themselves. Now, many of the Asian arboreals behave this way, and we found that majority of them, we can get them to a point where they're not too terrible, but you do need to treat them with the utmost respect. They have got a medically significant bite. You don't want to get tagged by one of these guys. They're very, very fast, and so every care needs to be taken when you're dealing with these guys. So what we're going to do, we are going to set up this enclosure now. They are generally a little bit on the reclusive side, so we're looking at trying to make something that's going to be quite dense, give her plenty of sort of comfort in the fact that she's not in an open box. We want to try and seal it off a little bit, try and make it so the plants will grow up, and give her a really, really sort of dense environment. This will also help with the fact that they like it a good humidity, so the plants will help us with that. They will also, I'm actually going to get some of my other stuff and mix in with this, because this is, we're going to have a bit of this whole stuff. So what we got is the stuff that we put in first is a mixture of stuff that we've salvaged from a number of different enclosures, and it's quite dry, but it's a real mixture of stuff. And then what we've got here is some pure compost. This has been sat out in the garden in a bag for about a year, and it has gone really, really black, where anything that was in it has now broken down, and it's got a really sort of smell about it.
Manure.
A bit like manure, it is. Yeah, it is a bit like manure. I personally really quite like it. It's quite nice. So we're going to mix it in. I'm hoping that our plants will appreciate that little bit of extra stuff going on in there. So we're going to mix it all up. Now, as we were saying, these guys are a little bit reclusive. So the real big thing here is we want to try and make sure that our spider feels secure, nice and secure. That's what we're after. So we're going to put this in here. We've also found with these that they do like to actually sort of burrow down a bit and all. Quite a weird spider for an arboreal spider. They don't mind getting stuck in being buried either.
Does that have something to do with the climate, where it sits sometimes? Or...
No, I think it's more of a security thing. Personally, that's what I think. So I'm hoping if we can get it to a point where she feels really secure, as like with most of our spiders, the more secure you can make them feel, the more chance you've got of actually seeing them. And I often sort of think that when people say, like, you know, oh, I haven't seen these spiders for X amount of time, it's been ages, months, you know, I've not seen them. I think there's normally, if that's happening, I always consider that something needs to change. You know, you need to do something within your enclosure to make it change. Yeah, you've got to do something if you want to see them. So we're going to put that in there like so. We've got another piece here. This is a piece of that I actually cut off so that I could get another piece into an enclosure that was the right size. You can see there where I've cut it with a saw. And these, I like these because we can use these almost like plant troughs. We can put them in, and what it does is it gives us another dimension within our enclosure. So as you can see there now, we can put plants in behind here. We can put plants in here. But what it does is it gives us that other dimension. We'll see when you show us. Which makes it look a little bit different. It just adds a little bit. Now we've also got, we were kindly sent a bag full of plants. And we are going to make use of these said plants. I do like these palms. We actually use quite a lot of these palms. They are really, really cool. So we're going to put these in here. Now they might look a little bit on the small side for the moment, but they will grow. And then once they start growing, they will fill these areas lovely.
My gran used to say, stuck me in manure, I'd grow, never did.
No, you've always been short, haven't you?
Yep.
Yeah. Short is wonderful though, don't worry about it. It's fine. Short is lovely. So we're going to stick a bit in here. We're going to put a little bit more in here. Put that in there. So again, we're just looking at trying to make our spider feel secure. That's the key. So we're going to put these in here. Got some more here. It's always good to make use of all this stuff, you know. So many people will just sort of throw this away, and we can make perfect use of it. There's nothing wrong with it, just so I'm going to put that in there. So you can see there now how that's just gone in there. It gives us another aspect to our enclosure. Blow a bit of that out of there. Right, we've got some more plants here as well. Got some really quite big leaf stuff here. We'll put that in there as well. See if that can't hopefully grow. We can always add a bit more. I think what we'll do is we'll grab one of ours, because we've got a couple of these palms. So we'll grab one of them because it's a bit bigger. We'll put that in as well. Just disappearing out into the garden so I can find a couple of plants. This is going to be like Palm City. Florida, yeah. Right, we're going to get this one in there. So I'm going to put that in there. So what we're going to do is going to take our branch out for the moment. Get that in there. I do love adding these plants. It just gives it so much more. We've got this one here, We're going to have a real old mixture of stuff in here. This one out. This can go in the front. It's quite a nice looking plant. Put that in there. And I think, always the way, isn't it? Well, as soon as you've got dirty hands, you get itchy nose. Right. So we'll put our branch back in. We'll check out, see how we're looking. And I think, do you know what? That's really, really looking quite tropical now.
Give us a look, Dave.
Look at that. It's all getting a little bit of height about it. I'm wondering whether we go for one more palm down in here, just to give it that, just to really, really seal that off. Let's have a little butcher's, see what we got. I think maybe if we just get that one in there as well. I don't know.
You're just doing too much.
It might be. It might be. You could be quite right. So I think we'll leave it at that.
Less is more, Dave.
Less
is more.
Less is more. Yeah. We're going to leave it at that. We've got a few leftovers which we can put in another project. Right. That is good. What we're going to do now is we're going to get our paintbrush and we're going to clean up some of this stuff. I don't normally muck about too much like this, but I do want to see this bark. So, and I need to clean out our vents and stuff. So, I'm going to get that done there. Get that in. Right, what we have got to do is put a water bowl in.
Oh yeah, very well.
I haven't put a water bowl in yet.
Do you want me to wash your hands with a blow thing?
No.
The spray?
No.
It'll be fun.
No, I don't. No. No. As you can see, guys, I don't trust camera lady with things like the sprayer, because generally speaking, I will end up wearing most of it. So we're not going to go down that road today. We are not going to do it. I'm thinking I'm going to put that out there. So right, so we're going to put that nice big glob of boiling hot lava. Should have got my gun up here ready. So what I'm going to do is try get that on there like so. Hopefully that will stay there. So what we're going to do now, we're just going to bang a load of water in here. As you can see, we're actually using quite a bit of water. Not such a big issue. We just want to get a good bit of water into our plants.
And that's into the plants, not onto the glass, isn't it?
Yep. All we're doing is watering our plants. I'll put a bit on that bit of moss there as well. I'm sure he'll appreciate it. Right then. So as you remember, we've been sort of trying to get across now where we want to, 2 seconds. A bit of snuff on there, I didn't want that.
Teasing us.
Trying to get across now where we can use water in our plants to to increase our humidity and use the plants to govern the humidity. It's so much easier.
Kind of directs the water in the right place.
It does, puts everything in the right place. So then, right, what we're going to do now, we have got a really busy desk. A really busy desk. So we are going to pick this up and we're going to put it on the edge. Living on the edge.
Fateful.
Yeah, it's not going to go anywhere, guys. It's totally safe. We're going to take this out of the way. Lazy Susan can be lazy somewhere else. I'm going to put that down there. Then we are going to have a quick tidy up here, because this spider has just recently come in, and it's in a little pot at the moment waiting for this rehouse, and we noticed it in the pot. It wasn't the best behaved spider. And to say that it is a little on the grumpy side would be an understatement. So we're going to take this out, get rid of that. We don't need that at the moment. We don't need that. We are going to try and get this rather bad tempered spider onto this piece of wood. Now, one of the things that we will be struggling with here, apart from the fact that it's not very happy, is the fact that they can, and quite often are, a little bit light sensitive. You know, as we said earlier on, they're quite a shy spider. So asking it to sit out on top of this piece of wood might be asking a little bit too much.
Can we change the room lights?
But we can...
so rather than directly over the desk?
No, we'll be all right. We're going to have our catch cup ready. This might be one of them moments where we end up chasing it around the room. So we've got to find it first. There it is. It's not particularly big at the moment.
Oh, I thought you were getting out something as big as a bin lid.
No, it's not particularly big.
Oh.
It's only small at the minute. But so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to try and get it to walk out onto here. So we're just going to take it real slow. See how we roll the tub round? That's it, she's out.
She's going for cover.
Yep. Now then, as you can see, this is only a young one, and it's very, very much like the Singapore blue. Very, very similar. And she is going to be a little bit lost in this big enclosure, but hopefully she's going to have so much space in there, she's going to be more than happy. Now if I will try and get a little bit of light.
Will the carapace go black as well as an adult, don't you?
Yes. Eventually, well, it goes more black. It doesn't go totally black.
So at the minute it looks quite creamy gold.
It's very creamy. Oh, there we go.
Oh, that's better. You see the pattern on her abdomen.
That's very interesting because when I checked her out, these guys only came in yesterday. And when I checked her out, she was really fired up. Full on threat displays. She was giving it large, to the point where she actually looked quite a bit bigger than she does now, which is the general idea of a threat display, is to make yourself look really big and threatening.
That light is so funny, strobing.
Yeah, it's a little bit. I think the batteries are just about at it.
And he just replaced it.
Yeah.
And there we go. We've had a nice look at her.
So what we're going to do, we're going to try and get her to come back. So I'm just going to touch her very, very gently. You see how her back legs reacted to it straight away. You notice how we're not asking too much all at once. We are literally just nice and slowly. Here we go. Be careful.
She's literally looking for them divots, isn't she?
Yeah. There you go. She's gone under now. So what we're going to do is just flick it over. There she is. Now it's interesting to see how there is literally a curve between this piece of bark here and the bit that she's sitting on, which creates like a little tiny furrow. That is enough to give her that sense of security that they so much chase for. So as you can see there, it doesn't take a lot to make your spider feel quite secure and happy. She really has. She's being very, very well behaved. Now these guys come from Indonesia. So humidity wise, we are looking up around about the sort of 75 to 80% humidity with decent ventilation. Remember the ventilation. Don't get caught up with when we talk about ventilation, we're not talking about overall, you know, holes around everything, all this sort of stuff. Again, ventilation is another one of them subjects that's very much like humidity, and it's quite misunderstood how it's interpreted. You can literally have, I've seen, well, like this is a good example actually. This one has got holes all the way around it. These have been put in holes all the way around. Yeah. So you got what you would class now as cross ventilation. But the thing with that, and it has a lid on it. Now, interestingly enough, the lid has got no holes in it at all. So when that lid is on there, like so, if you're using tubs like these, which many of us do, I use a lot of these tubs for growing on juveniles and things like this. This size spider is perfect in one of these. You know, it works really well. But if you're going to put holes in around the sides, because all of the literature tells you cross ventilation is so important, it's not got anywhere else to go. So these holes become almost ineffective.
Heat rises.
Yeah, heat rises, moisture rises. There's nothing in the top, so it can't go anywhere. If we had holes in the top, then it would help to circulate. It would help it. But again, if your holes are too small, you've got very, very little going on. This is why in all your enclosures, you see in here, these aren't just holes. There is a vent that runs along the back of this, which is open, and it helps to draw air through. Air needs to have freedom of movement for it to actually create that lift.
Does it kind of draw and
Yeah,
out?
and because you've got a mesh top, that helps it, and it draws it through the front and up and out through the top. So when you're looking at trying to achieve a similar thing inside your plastic tub, if you've got juveniles, then make the holes reasonable. They need to be reasonable, and they need to be clean. You know, you need a clean cut hole for free air movement. It needs to be able to pass through unhindered, and you need exactly the same in the top. If you want to go the extra mile, you can use tops like these, which you'll often find on your fruit fly tubs and stuff like that, and they basically put a mesh over the top, you know, underneath, and that, so these have all got holes in, and then they have a mesh underneath which is glued onto there. Now be aware, these holes on the top here are probably 8 to 10 mil holes. Be careful if you're housing your spiders in these tubs and you use one of these, because if your spider is probably half the size of that one, they can crawl, they will chew this off and they will crawl through. So just be aware, these give better ventilation, but if your spider's too small, that size spider carapace is not going to get through there.
Don't stack your cups with all the ventilations on top.
No, if you stack another one on top, you've cut your ventilation down. So bear that in mind if you're using things like this. And we all use these, we all use them. They are really good, they're effective, but they just need to be used in the right way. So yes, so ventilation is important, but we need to be able to understand it fully. And again, when we're looking at the humidity in this enclosure, all we're going to do is water these plants probably once a week, and that is going to be enough to provide the humidity within this enclosure that this spider requires. Yeah, it's not going to need any more than that. Don't get in a habit of spraying everything down. They don't find it very comfortable. Right, so shall we try and get this girl back in here.
I must admit, Dave, size mattered. I thought she was bigger.
Yeah, she's not massive, but we will.
You tricks me.
We will come back and have a look at her when she's a bit older, or we get a bigger one. Right. So what we're going to do now? She's on the log. You can see she's actually settled down. She's in that position now where she believes no one can see her. She's entirely hidden away. I'll tell you what I do need to do first is try and get a photograph.
Yeah. Come this side rather than move her.
Well, I'd actually like to try and get a photograph of her out and about. So we are going to try and move her back onto the log. Shouldn't be too bad because she's been very, very well behaved. So what we're going to do now, we're going to use the brush. We're going to come across the front feet. As soon as you see her flinch, this is your cue to maintain contact. So we're going to touch her there. Yep, she's convinced no one can see her. So what we're doing is we're just gently rubbing her toes. So what we do now, because we're not getting any movement, we pick up her toes. There you go. Look, she's like, there's somebody there. Now behave yourself because it's your friendly keeper. What we're going to do now, you notice we're just literally very, very slowly. I want her to go backwards because I want her to be on the log. There we go. That's nice. That's nice. We can deal with that. That's pleasant. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to turn it this way. In fact, I'm going to turn it all the way around. And I am going to get a picture here because I've got better light. With that camera lady in the background. Maybe all, that's it. Right. So that's our pictures. So what we're going to do now is we are going to try and get her into this box because it's going to be easier to put her in the box than it is to try and walk this big bit of wood into there. So what we're going to do, we've got a natural ravine sort of thing in the wood here. We're going to put our box in there like so. We're going to come up behind her with the lid very, very gently. You see she knows we're there. She's moving forward already. She walks straight in the box just like we prepared earlier. You see that? Training has paid off. See how nice and sweet that was? And now what we're going to do is going to get this in here. And I think we're going to try and get her to move out onto here.
I thought you were going to do it on the bit of wood.
We can do it on a bit of wood. We can do a bit on wood. Well, here we go. There you go. Look at that, straight up the corner and out she goes. There you go. You see, she's just looking for that little bit of seclusion down the side. Looking absolutely wonderful. And there you go. So this is, in effect, quite a large enclosure for this size spider. But we're hoping, provide this is fine. You know, you can use big enclosures to house smaller spiders if you so wish. All you have to be aware of is that you make sure that when it's feeding time, you make sure that your spider is actually getting its food. And with spiders that are quite secretive, like these ones, it can be difficult. So by setting your enclosure up the way we have here, we can always take this enclosure off the shelf and we can look behind and we can have a look. We have got some boards that we need to make up to go onto the back of these enclosures, which will give us that little bit.
wants to go even higher.
Oh, there you go. Look at that. You see, that was an escape reaction. Just let go and drop. Absolutely perfect. She landed in the bush. And she will be off and hiding somewhere else. There she is. She's just down there.
I can see her with my eye.
Yeah.
The big leaf that you.
She's.
Oh yeah, we can see her legs.
Yeah, she's actually found the back of the cork bark now. So we will put a backboard on there, and that will help to give her some of that seclusion, and keep it nice and dark for her. And she'll be perfectly happy. It will really work out well. So it means that we can take her off the shelf, and we can open the back up, and we can have a look. And by doing that, we can just check her abdomen. And as long as her abdomen is staying good, in a decent shape, then we know that she's getting her food. It's when you can't see your spider and you've got no way of actually monitoring how it is, you have to rely on actually catching it out and about. It can often go too long between feeds where it's not been feeding. And this is when quite often you'll lose a spider, because you've not been able to monitor how it's going. Whereas a small enclosure can often make that easier because of the way you set it up. So big enclosures for small spiders is more than easily workable. You just need to put a little bit more effort into keeping an eye on them. So just bear that in mind when you're setting yours up. Right, we will put our top on because we don't want Mrs. walking out. And actually, I think that went really, really well. For a spider that is normally a real full-on, bad-tempered thing, she was incredibly well behaved. She was not like that yesterday when we checked her. She was giving it proper OBT vibes. But yeah, very good today. Right then, what else we got? Food-wise, we would feed her on medium to large crickets, also red runners. Up to adult red runners she will take, no problem at all. In this style enclosure, if it's red runners, I would possibly put in 2 or 3 and just let them run. If you use the male red runners, they are constantly active. So that helps make sure that she finds them, or they will find her and she will end up grabbing them. So they work really, really well. With that size spider, if you're going to feed crickets, feed smaller crickets, because if she does go into a molt or anything like that and you've got a cricket running around in there loose, he's going to do less damage. If you've got a full-blown adult cricket with a spider that size, it could cause problems when they come to molt. So just be aware, you know, if you're going to use crickets, always use smaller crickets. It works better, a bit safer. But red runners are a really, really good option. Right, temperature wise, we are looking up in the sort of 75 to 80s, 85, not a problem at all. These guys like it warm. You probably won't get it warm enough for them. They can really tolerate some high temperatures. So they're good with temperatures. They like the humidity. We covered that with the plants. So yeah, really, really not a bad spider to maintain. You just have to think a little bit about them and just stay on the ball a little bit more with them, and you will have a nice healthy spider. Right, hopefully we will come back and check this girl in a few months' time when she's had a couple of molts, and hopefully she'll have some real size about her. I think the real nice thing will be coming in of a night time and catching her out on the logs of a night time. She will look absolutely exquisite. Right then, well, I hope you enjoyed that, and don't forget, be calm, be gentle, and love your spider. And I'll see you all soon, guys.